welcome back. In today's lecture, I am going to close the discussion on basic variational problem. So basically, this is final type. I have given a specific name like type 4. So in this particular type of basic variational problem, we are assuming that both final time TF and XTF are free. So what we have observed so far, that I have some function xt that is continuously differentiable, and after that we are assuming that this x star is belongs to above class, and we have to find that x star such that this functional, and here functional is defined like g xt x dot t and t, and here g basically somehow nonlinear time varying functional, and after integrating from t0 to tf we are assuming that it mapped to r, some kind of real number, and we are also assuming that gx is continuously differentiable in x dot as well as t, and we have to find the x star such that this functional has relative extremum or optimum. And so far we have seen three different types of problem. So in type 1 we are assuming that both initial time as well as initial state are fixed, and what we have observed that necessary condition for the existence of the extremum value is finally land up to this Euler equation. People are also telling Euler-Lagrange equation, and here actually we are calculating this particular or solving this particular differential equation about x star, x dot star and t. So that I haven't specified here. So I am intentionally assuming that this is present, and by solving this Euler-Lagrange equation, it is possible to show that if solution of this particular partial differential equation exists, then this particular function x star is going to minimize this particular functional. After that, in type 2, what we are assuming that initially t0 and x0 that is fixed, and tf is also fixed, but xf is not fixed. So we have this kind of basically admissible trajectory, and out of this trajectory again I have to find x star such that same functional is actually keep relative extremum value or optimum value. And what we found that in addition of the Euler-Lagrange equation, again here this is function of x star, x dot star and t, similarly here that is equal to 0, and actually natural boundary condition also comes into picture. So basically now in simplest case, when both are fixed, then we have to just solve the Euler-Lagrange equation, and finally we are getting some kind of second order time varying differential equation with two boundary conditions. So solution is easy. Now here one more boundary condition is involved, that is called natural boundary condition, and this comes into picture due to the flexibility of the final state, because we are assuming that tf is known to me but xtf is not known to me. And another boundary condition, we are knowing that initially xt0 that is x0. And in type 3 problem what we have found that in this case, basically final state is fixed, but TF is free. And then again, we have to minimize this functional, and again all assumptions, whatever assumption we have kept for the basic variational problem, same assumption we are going to apply in type 3 case. So we are just playing with the boundary condition, and after that what we found that admissible trajectory in this particular case, you can see that since TF is not specified, so basically in order to find the necessary condition what we have observed in the previous class, now we have to see the variation in xt, delta xt as well as delta TF. So we have to consider both kind of variation, and finally necessary condition remains same like, so this condition Euler-Lagrange equation will appear everywhere. Again argument is these three, and boundary condition basically, that is different kind of boundary condition basically comes into picture. And in previous class we have observed that this kind of boundary condition comes into picture if we are assuming that this kind of situation that TF is not specified but XF is specified. In today's lecture, basically we are going to assume that both TF and XTF is unspecified. So this is more general class, and it is possible to show that from type 3, again by putting different restriction, one can reconstruct type 1, type 2 and type 3. So question is that why we are not just discuss type 4 and after that we will discuss type first, type 2 and type second. So it is it is always better that you can start from simple case, and after that you can land up to the more general case, and after that you can show that from more general case I can able to specify the special case. So again problem statement for this particular case, I have to find a necessary condition. So everywhere we are talking about the necessary condition. So if this condition will not satisfy, then we become confirmed that there doesn't exist any kind of extremum. So what is objective of today's lecture? We have to first find a necessary condition for the more generalized case where both TF means terminal time and terminal state is unspecified, and after that we have to extremize this particular functional again, and again we are repeating here that T0 and XT0 are specified, but both TF and XTF are free. So if you see again the admissible, some kind of admissible trajectory, so admissible trajectory in this case, since TF and XTF is not fixed, so due to that reason we might have different possibility. And now in order to find the necessary condition, again we have to proceed like type 3. First I have to assume that this particular trajectory from T0 to TF, this particular trajectory is extremum for that particular functional, and functional is Jx, and we have again defined Jx by T0 to TF, and after that G, and after that I have xt, and this is function of x dot t and t, and after that I have dt. So again problem remains the same, but we are assuming that x star is the extremal trajectory, and after that x is the neighborhood trajectory of this. Here you can see that I have, whenever we are seeing the neighborhood trajectory, and suppose this TF is the time where we are assuming that this particular trajectory is the extremizing this particular functional. So basically now I have two different kind of variations are involved here. one variation due to the final time TF. So you try to see here that this neighboring trajectory at this point, and I have extremum trajectory. So this is the difference. So that I am going to represent by delta x TF. And when this neighboring trajectory is terminated, that is TF plus delta TF, again I have certain kind of variation that is defined as a delta XF. So I have variation of the terminal time that is represented by delta x TF, and I have variation for the final trajectory. So I have two different kind of variation which basically shown in this particular figure. Same kind of things I have written as a remark here. Delta x TF is the difference in coordinate at t equal to TF, and delta XF is the difference in coordinate of the end point of two curve. And it is important to keep in mind that in general this is the case, means these two things are not equal, and it is pretty easy to see from this particular figure. So we are assuming some kind of extremal curve, and after that we are just seeing the neighboring curve same like type 3, and after that we are calculating the increment, and from the increment we are calculating the variation. Again, if this x star is extremum functional, it is possible to show that this functional is not defined between TF to TF plus delta TF, and due to that reason, again same like whatever we have discussed in the previous class, here you can see that I have gx is defined for T0 to TF plus delta TF, and after that gx star x dot star t, that is only limited or defined in this interval T0 to TF. So discussion remains the same because xtf is only existing in this particular interval, and due to that reason we are basically, whenever we are calculating increment, at that time our integration is from T0 to TF. But this neighboring trajectory is existing from T0 to TF plus delta TF, because now TF is not fixed. So I have to consider the variation on final time also. So we have to consider in the variation in the final state as well as final time. So final time, in order to capture the variation of the final time, basically we have to do integration from T0 to TF plus delta TF, and due to that reason this kind of things comes into picture. And if you remember the case type 3 problem and type 4 problem, in both problem we are allowing the variation of the terminal time, but in type 1 and type 2 we are not allowing any kind of variation in terminal time, and due to that reason actually integration is just from T0 to TF here and T0 to TF here. So you have to become little bit careful whenever you have variation of this time delta TF comes into picture. And after that, same like previous class, that again what we are going to do, that we are going to basically split this particular definite integral in two parts, one part from T0 to TF, and after that second part is from TF to delta plus TF. So this is the second part, and after that again same like, so almost all derivation remains same up to the increment, and after that whenever we are talking about variation, at that time basically we have to establish some kind of new relation between delta xt, delta xtf and delta tf. So only change basically reflected from there. So this step again remains same like the type 3rd problem. Again we are going to calculate the Taylor series expansion about x star t and x dot t, and after that, after again doing this, we are getting higher order term, and again second integral basically we are writing like this, same like this. These steps are remain same. Due to that reason I am not going to take much time, and again I can write like this, and after that we are getting this kind of increment delta j, that is defined like this particular way. And now everywhere this kind of condition we are assuming, because we are assuming that when I have started, then T0 is known and delta and xt0 is known. So variation of delta xt0 is 0, and based on that we have basically derived this kind of expression. And after that, now what we have to do, that we have to express similarly g xtf, x dot tf and tf in term of this g star, because this is extremal trajectory, x star is the extremal trajectory or extremal function. So again basically this step is again similar, and I have variation with respect to delta xtf, delta x dot tf, and after that again higher order term, and finally we have this kind of delta j. Now what we are going to do, this from here onward, actually now new step is going to start. And why new step basically comes into picture? So if you remember previous lecture, at that time xf is fixed and basically tf is flexible. So basically in this direction there is no shift, but now basically xf is also free and tf is also free, and due to that reason in this direction also we have variation, and due to that reason I have now this kind of relation delta xf. So try to see what is delta xf. So delta xf, here you can see that end point of the extremal trajectory, and this is the end point of the final trajectory, that I have defined as a delta xf, and that is nothing but delta xtf, means this variation, and after that I have slope at this particular point. So same like I have to calculate the derivative at tf, and after that I have to multiply with this kind of increment, and then we are basically able to get this whole thing. So I think that this particular step is not difficult to understand, because now I have to calculate distance from here to here. So I know the distance from here to here is delta xtf, and in order to calculate distance from here to here, basically we have used the idea of differential, and delta tf is basically the variation in time, and from here it is possible to calculate the value of delta xtf. And after that, now from 1 and 2, so we have calculated variation. So I have already told you that repeat this step same like the type third, and after that you have to just change your problem from here onward, because now you have also shifting in vertical direction. If you remember previous class, then basically this vertical shifting we have defined that as a 0, and after that basically due to that reason this particular term is 0 in type 3 problem when xf is basically fixed. But now this xf, delta xf is also comes into picture. Again now if I will substitute delta xtf in equation 1, then variation now can be defined like this. So I have some more term, and why more term come into picture? Due to this particular variation delta xf, and again I am repeating, the delta xf is given like the end point of the extremal trajectory and end point of the neighboring trajectory. After that, now you can see that this part is same like this part is responsible for the Euler-Lagrange equation, and after that, since I have to force the variation, and how to calculate variation from the increment, again you have to just collect the first order term, and again you have to put this equal to 0, and you all are well aware that this delta x and delta tf might be arbitrary, and here delta x is also arbitrary, and due to that reason only one thing I can able to make sure in order to make variation equal to 0, that this bracketed quantity equal to 0, this particular bracketed quantity from here to here that equal to 0, and this particular integral from here to here that is equal to 0. And if you use the fundamental lemma of calculus of variation, then this provide us the Euler-Lagrange equation, and these two are gives us the boundary condition. So now what note I have written here, as before we argue that Euler equation must be satisfied, therefore integral equal to 0. So integral means Euler equation will come in all cases, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. Just it is possible to show that due to the variation of the end point or boundary condition, we have different condition, and here you can see that I have different possibility based on the end condition. But in this particular lecture, basically we are just going to cover the two possibility. What is first possibility? I am assuming that delta tf and xtf is unrelated. There is no specification about the final time tf or final state tf. So if there is no relation, then in order to make variation equal to 0, we have to put this kind of condition that since these two things, delta x and delta tf, variation in final state and variation in final time, are independent from one another and also arbitrary, and due to that reason coefficient, and I have already told you that coefficient which is related to this variation, that is this and this particular, so this is also 0 and this is also 0. So I have this kind of situation. So again I have, apart from the Euler equation, in order to give the necessary condition, again I have to solve these two partial differential equation, and these two partial differential equation again provide us two boundary condition, and Euler equation is somehow the second order differential equation. So second order differential equation with two boundary condition, I am able to solve it, and it is possible to show that if we solve two boundary condition, so here this part equal to 0, so automatically this is 0, so that finally this kind of boundary condition basically comes into picture. Another important point might be there, and if you see the optimal control problem, so in optimal control problem most of time somehow tf and xtf is unspecified, but somehow they are correlated most of optimal control problem. So we are assuming that final value of x may be constrained to lie on some kind of specified moving point, and that is theta t. So I have some kind of specification of the or some kind of relation of the final time tf and final state xtf, and suppose that is basically that relation is captured using this kind of equation, and in this case if you obtain the variation of delta xtf, then due to a small variation of delta xtf, it is possible to show that I can able to write this as a differential, and after that variation of this delta tf. So basically if you substitute this kind of things, so I have equation third is basically that after calculating the variation, so after calculating the variation I have this kind of term, and since now I am assuming that delta tf and delta xf is somehow correlated, so again these two things together will generate some more general boundary condition, and we are going to specify that boundary condition, or going to substitute this kind of relation, means variational relation delta, this kind of variational relation, and after that we will get this kind of, basically this kind of again partial differential equation comes into picture. And since why this kind of partial differential equation again equal to 0, because we are assuming that delta TF, even that is correlated with XTF, but that is arbitrary, and due to that reason coefficient which is multiplied with delta TF, that is 0. So what is conclusion? Basically in every case, any type you can take, type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, everywhere you have to solve Euler-Lagrange equation, and after that, apart from that, you have to solve some kind of partial differential equation in type 2, type 3 or type 4 basically, and based on the specification of boundary condition, specification of in time and in the state, you have to solve different partial differential equation. And first what we are going to do, we are going to revisit one problem which we have specified in the type 1, that suppose I have some kind of functional, and again if I know the initial condition is like this: at t equal to 0 I have x0 equal to 0. Now we are assuming that TF and XTF is free. Now XTF and time TF is basically related by this particular relation. So theta t is 5t plus 15. So this kind of relation I have, and if you see carefully that this kind of functional comes into picture whenever we are talking about shortest distance from 2 points. But here I have to find shortest distance from origin to this kind of curve, and that curve is theta t equal to minus 5t plus 15. So based on problem specification, this curve might be different. This might be parabola or something else. So now try to see that how to solve this problem. So first step that remains the same, that I have to solve the Euler-Lagrange equation, and we have already seen in type 1 that if you solve the Euler-Lagrange equation, then second order x double dot star x star basically represent for the optimal or some kind of extremal trajectory that equal to 0. And since this is second order differential equation, so solution can be given like this, and I have to just specify the value of C1 and C2. Since we know that this particular extremal trajectory is passing through origin, due to that reason t equal to 0, I have t equal to 0, I have x star equal to 0, so C2 equal to 0. So at least now I have equation from this. If you can put this kind of condition, then finally I have x star t, that is just C1 t. Now in order to calculate this coefficient C1, I am going to use that kind of boundary condition. This condition is somehow also known as a transversality condition. Whenever we are talking about transversality condition, then basically we are somehow talking about two different planes or two different curves, where means intersection of two different point or two different curve, and that kind of things in particularly in geometrical control theory you can see, or geometry, people are telling whenever two curves are basically approaching towards each other, cutting point of two curve, that is called transversality. So that condition is called transversality condition. That is just name. For time being you can assume that this is just a name. And after that, now I have to solve this kind of partial differential equation, and we know that why this partial differential equation comes into picture, because we are assuming that final time TF and XTF is correlated, and at that time we have to calculate the variation, and we are know that they are related by some kind of theta t, some kind of function. So we have to check the variation, and after that again delta TF we have to express all boundary condition in terms of delta TF, and after that we have to put the coefficient equal to 0. So little practice is required here, because you have to understand that which kind of partial differential equation we have to solve in which particular condition. So, and after that, if you understood this, then what happens, that now things is pretty easy, because you are knowing what is G, and after that you know the theta, and after that if you substitute everything, then finally you are able to get this kind of expression. And in this way, since I know that x star is C1 into T, and from here if you calculate the x star TF, that is 1 by 5, so automatically C1 is nothing but 1 by 5. So you can take the differential on both sides, and after that what you can do, by taking differential of this particular curve, because second order curve I have C1 T1 plus C2. So if you calculate the differential, then C1 dot equal x1 star T equal to C1. So you will get the value of C1, and C1 is nothing but 1 by 5 in this particular case. In this way I am able to calculate the final time also. So final time TF is come up to this value, because theta TF, you are knowing the expression of theta TF, so you can substitute it. You know from that transversality condition, you know x star TF, you can substitute it, and after that you can just solve it for TF. So you know the TF x star you are already know by calculating C1. Now what we are telling, suppose I have this kind of curve, so shortest path from here to here, that is a straight line joining from here to here, and that is nothing but the perpendicular. It is possible to show. So shortest path is along the perpendicular to the line that pass through the origin. If you have in place of this straight line, it might possibly you have parabola, hyperbola, any shape you can take, and after that again you have to follow same kind of step, and it is possible to show that what is the shortest path in different case. So what we have seen in the last part of basic variational problem. So in basically, if you want to reconstruct the all type, it is possible to reconstruct from this particular equation. So I am coming to the particular equation, and this is particularly the variational equation. So from variation, now you can see that let us first try to reconstruct the type 1. So if you see the type 1, then what is my specification? In type 1 problem, we are assuming that initial point T0 and XT0 is fixed, TF and XTF is fixed. So both are fixed, and due to that reason, variation of, because whenever we are calculating variation, then everywhere we have already during simplification we have already assumed that delta XT0 variation in, and XT0 variation in T0, that is 0. So now we are assuming that end point is also fixed, and due to that reason these two variation is automatically 0. So finally I have just Euler-Lagrange equation. So what we have found that in type 1 problem, that necessary condition such that means this functional is minimized, that is basically given by the Euler-Lagrange equation. Now try to come to the type 2. In type 2, what we found that basically TF is specified, but now XTF is free. So if TF is specified, then automatically those term where that is related to TF, delta TF, that is 0, and if that is 0, then now this part, second part, that equal to 0, and Euler-Lagrange equation remains the same. So integral equal to 0, that provides us the Euler-Lagrange equation. How to reconstruct the natural boundary condition? By solving this equation, because delta XF is arbitrary, that is not fixed, and due to that reason, in order to make variation equal to 0, we have to force coefficient equal to 0. Now try to come to the type third problem. In type third problem, we are assuming that xf final state is given, and due to that reason, if final state is given, then delta xf is itself 0. Then due to that reason, first particular bracketed term equal to 0. Now since delta tf is not fixed, and due to that reason delta tf is arbitrary, so only in order to force variation equal to 0, we have to force this term equal to 0. So due to that reason, variation, whenever we are calculating the boundary condition, at that time we have to solve this kind of partial differential equation. And of course, for the fourth, when both are free, at that time we have to solve this and this. And if some relation is specified, then we have to substitute delta xf in terms of delta tf, and after that we have to put delta tf, that is arbitrary, due to that reason coefficient equal to 0. So now I am going to conclude this portion of the course. In this portion of the course, actually, what is my assumption? We are assuming that function that belongs to some kind of so we have some kind of a scalar function basically, and I have to minimize some kind of functional that is just function of that scalar function and their derivative, as well as explicit presence of time. And what we found, that necessary condition for existence of the extremum or optimum basically divided into 4 different cases based on the specification of the boundary condition. And from the type 4, it is possible to reconstruct all 3 cases by suitably arguing the variation of delta xtf and delta tf. So in this way, so what is the idea? Final idea, suppose if most of time, now you all are matured students, so we are not assuming that you have to remember it, but if you just able to come up to the fourth case, means up to 4th case with variation, then all 3 cases are basically obvious. So if you do practice of last case, it is possible to reconstruct the all 3 cases. So there is no need to remember the all 4 cases. So all 3 cases are just for the understanding purpose. And finally, if you at least do practice of part 4, then you are able to reconstruct, or you are able to solve all type of variational problem. In next class, what I am going to do, first I am going to tell you that if this function is not a scalar, so I have to talk about generalized case. After that, one more case that is basically involved, that if I have some kind of constraint, because this till now we are not considering any kind of constraint. So these 2 things we will cover in the next part of this course, and after that we jump to the optimal control problem. So with this remark, I am going to close the today's lecture. Thank you very much.